battle of all battles. We're doing film versus digital.
When it comes to digital, we get the horror film of Steamboat Willie announced the day that he hits the public domain. Digital filmmaking is just like, we'll fix it in post.
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Screen Scuffle.
My name is Blaise.
And my name is James.
And this episode, we are doing the battle of all battles when it comes to celluloid and films and digital. We're doing film versus digital.
The long-awaited battle, David Fincher versus Christopher Nolan, I guess you could say. Both great directors, but a lot of people are going to be on your side of digital. A lot of people are going to be on my side of film because it's the pure cinematic experience. Quentin Tarantino refuses to even show movies on digital at his New Beverly Theater. We've brought it up multiple times here on the show. Their gimmick is all movies are shown in 35 millimeter, sometimes 16 millimeter as well too. That's also the gimmick at his newly bought restored theater, the Vista, over in the East Hollywood area of LA. Film, it's never going anywhere. Digital is outphasing it. But we all know what started all, what's best, what reigns supreme. It's the same thing. It's the same argument we've done before, whether it's streaming versus physical media. It's the original. That's just the pure experience.
I'll admit, I've had a lot of great times with films. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to film as like a everyone can access it, everyone can, join the party, it's digital. I mean, film, you're capped at like, oh, you have to have some serious guap to be able to even enter the film market. But when it comes to digital, I have a phone. You have a phone. We're digital.
When it comes to digital, we get movies like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. When it comes to digital, we get the horror film of Steamboat Willie announced the day that he hits the public domain.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just 5 years from now, Batman hits the public domain. And who do we have to thank for the numerous terrible horror Batman films we're going to get 10 years from now? Digital filmmaking.
The difference is, though, I think that the free market can solve that. The best stuff is going to rise to the top. And the majority of people aren't going to watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Only the people that are literally hoodwinked by the fact that, oh, this is a dark Winnie the Pooh film, are going to watch that kind of garbage. But then once they're done with it, they're like, okay, I don't think they're going to trick me again in this. I think it was announced the other day that there's going to be like a monster version of public domain characters. Absolutely ridiculous. The fact that anyone's making any content over this, even it shows how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I think it was the Pooh Vengers or the Winnie Vengers or something. Yeah,
so stupid. And I enjoy bad movies, so that's not saying that like they're just not made for you. No, I enjoy bad films a lot of the times. I just know that this is absolute garbage. It has nothing is going to be good about it. And yeah, those are probably shot on digital, but I think that the majority of people aren't going to watch stuff like that.
So I feel like you're kind of defending the indie filmmakers who, maybe like Joe Swanberg, who might shoot on digital, like the mumblecore movement, where a lot of people are shooting on stuff that's, on the cheaper end of the spectrum of filmmaking. But let's keep in mind, though, a lot of these movies are also shot on 8mm film, which still defends my argument of film. It might not be the highest quality of film. It is a cheaper version of film to use, and those cameras are, maybe not the most accessible, but they're easier to get a hold of and less expensive compared to a 35 or 70mm camera. But they still exist, and a lot of those indie filmmakers you're defending who are still making good stuff, who have the easier access, are still choosing to make stuff on film. And if they ever get the opportunity, they'll probably move into 35mm.
The problem is you're saying that those things are still available. Yes, the cameras are still available. Yes, the film stock is somewhat still available. But the labs have been closing down ever since the past 20 years. Those labs have been closing down. So who's going to develop your film when you get to actually shooting it? If you don't have serious Christopher Nolan style money, like, I don't know if that's really a viable option. It might just be easier to shoot digital. You have unlimited takes when you're shooting digital. We can shoot as much as we want. Who cares? We're shooting this on digital. There's so many great things about digital. Yes, maybe the graininess and the tactile feel of film, I really enjoy those things. I'm not discrediting that. But it just is more easy and accessible for people to shoot digital, just to be able to, even if you had an idea and you're like, oh, I want to try and make a movie about that. Just being the fact that you can pull a phone out of your pocket and be like, let's just see if this might work. Let's do a rough draft of this. But can you imagine ordering a bunch of film, then trying to figure out who's going to develop it at a lab, and then like ending up being like, this was a horrible idea. Why did we ever do this? Now we're in debt.
But that's why also that we have the beautiful art of pre-production, all the beautiful storyboards to go into not wasting any film. We got to establish all these shots ahead of time. We got to go scout locations. That's the beauty of watching special features on a movie. Digital filmmaking is just like, we'll fix it in post.
All those special features shot on digital though, so you wouldn't even have those if digital wasn't around, and if digital wasn't, you know, the king. I think digital, like, film has its merits. I think some of the best films ever made obviously shot on celluloid, but when it comes to everyone being able to access the art and the art to be accessible to anyone, whether you are somebody, you know, in Nigeria or somebody on the other side of the globe, you can actually start making movies. There's no barrier of entry. Film, there was always a barrier of entry. Now that we're in the digital world, anyone can join the race whenever they want.
Hey, you're acting like film is impossible to come by these days, though. It's not. You can
in
still
Nigeria,
buy.
Yes, it is.
You can still buy a disposable Kodak camera, take it into CVS, Rite Aid. They will gladly get your film and photos developed within an hour. You know,
we're talking about still photography, though.
Yeah,
we're talking about film here, YouTube,
which is still what
landscape.
I'm talking about. Yeah,
I mean, yes, you can access that, but if you had like 16 millimeter film in some barren part of the world that might not have access to a lab, are you going to be able to pay to send it somewhere else to get it developed, and then find out that maybe everything you shot is crap? Where, as opposed to if you shot it digitally, maybe you can find out right there. You got to make some adjustments. You got to do some different things. This is how we make a movie, baby.
That just goes to show, though, you're making something with intention of being good with film versus digital's just like, shoot whatever and we'll just put it together in post. That's how I feel, at least. But how do you feel? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know who is the winner of this battle, who lawyered up better, or which one do you agree with? What do you side with? That's a great way to help support the show as well.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own personal letterbox accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a new video.